Coolbaugh? Sure, hello all, welcome to the Fantasy and Sci-Fi Fanatics podcast. I'm your host, Coolbaugh. Today I have these two very special guests, Frasier Armitage and Adrian M. Gibson. How are you guys doing today?
Good, brother. It's good to see you.
Awesome. Yeah, anytime that I can chat with you guys. I have so much fun with you guys with like the Indie Spotlight event, so I keep trying to tell people to check that out, and I'm going to link it too. I had a great time there, so I appreciate you guys.
It was great to have you as part of it. It was so much fun, like the whole weekend. And thank you so much for being up for it, and you as well, Adrian. I had a great time.
Yeah, man.
My wife, what are you doing? She's like, what are you doing? Like, I thought you had your hour, because I just kept like hopping on the like talks and stuff.
Yeah.
I was like, I really have to get to this talk. And then by the end of the weekend, she goes, I think you there's like other people had stuff too, right? It was like a busy weekend. It was nice for indie stuff in particular. I just kept hopping on to live. I was like, doing the dishes and listening, and she like talking to me like I was on a live, whoever. So yeah, it was like really nice to have that much going on, like in one week and one weekend. It was super fun. So yeah, it was awesome. Yeah, people should definitely check that out. I do want to mention though that people should check out your guys' interviews about this anthology too. You guys have had some great ones.
Thanks,
I keep doing that too. I keep popping in and out. My wife's like, the indie community must be busy right now. I'm like, it is like crazy right now. So it's been really nice.
Off, man.
Yeah. It was super cool. But Frasier, I know this is your first time on, this podcast. So really appreciate you, coming on and chatting with us today. But yeah, we're gonna get right in there. And do you guys just mind telling us a little bit about yourselves before we get started?
Frasier, go first, buddy.
Yeah, thank you for having me, guys. I mean, honestly, it's like, I love getting out there, meeting other indie creatives, other indie authors. So whoever's listening to this, if you don't know me, I'm Frasier Armitage. I am usually the host of the Spotlight Indie YouTube channel. And I'm also a contributor to the FanFiAddict blog and their YouTube channel. So you might have seen me around. Oh yeah, I am also the author of Cage of Stars. Thanks, Adrian. Adrian is my marketing person. Like,
you've done it so much recently.
I am so terrible at marketing, right? Thank you, Adrian, because I did forget to bring it again. So
again, after like how many times?
I know, right? Eventually I will get used to like bring your book to these things. So yeah, I author of Cage of Stars, author of a whole bunch of different sci-fi books. And yeah, just love the indie community, love this space, and yeah, just can't wait to sort of get started with talking about this amazing project we've been getting on with.
Yeah. And Adrian, if people haven't seen like, I don't know, like the 5 things we've done on here, maybe if they're new or something.
Just in case. Yeah. I'm Adrian M. Gibson. I am the author of Mushroom Blues, which is my debut novel. That's a fungal noir sort of murder mystery. And then I'm also the co-host of SFF Addicts podcast with MJ Kuhn and Greta Kelly, where we interview authors and do like writing master classes and stuff like that. Bunch of content on the FanFiAddict YouTube channel, and then book designer, illustration, graphic design kind of stuff on the side. So like did this one for Frasier as well. So if you ever want like some cool book design and stuff like that, hit me up. But yeah, that's basically me in a nutshell. Also stay-at-home dad. That's my actual full-time job, and clearly a lover of mushrooms considering all the stuff that we're involved in.
No, for anybody who needs their book, anything with their book, just talk to Adrian. Adrian is like an absolute legend with it. I feel like Adrian's going to figure out that it's a tactic of mine to keep forgetting to bring my book, so that he eventually will just put it on his shelf behind him, because like he'll be so sick of going to the other room to get it. He'll just be like, oh, I'm just putting it.
I mean, it is a really like screw MJ Kuhn. We can just
he's not here right now.
Who's that MJ Kuhn?
No, it's just, yeah, what Adrian brings to a book is Adrian makes it art, it's just beautiful. And it's like, if anybody has seen what he's done to the paperback of Cage of Stars, it's just like, oh, it's just so grateful for that. But yeah, just hit him up, because you will not regret working with him for sure.
Yeah, and kind of applying a lot of those same mentalities and skills to Book of Spores, which has been a lot of fun to. I mean, I can show up the cover now so people can see.
Yeah, it's amazing.
What this is about. Daniel, if you can allow sharing for this meeting.
Oh, dude, sorry. It might not let me because I can't get to my buttons, actually. Zoom is like
It's all good. In the meantime, I mean, Fraser and I can give a little bit of a pitch for what the Book of Spores actually
Yeah,
is.
go right ahead.
So this is an anthology that we've been working on for like better part of like a year and a half, maybe even a bit longer than that. But FanFiAddict is the book blog that we're a part of. SFF Addicts is also kind of under that umbrella. And so this is our first foray into doing an anthology with authors from FanFiAddict and SFF Addicts. It's also our first foray into doing crowdfunding with Kickstarter. And so this anthology is kind of just like an experiment in a lot of different ways. And essentially what we came down to is like we decided as a group that we wanted to do something centered around mushrooms. And it was voted upon. So it wasn't necessarily like I didn't have to pressure
You didn't bully anybody.
I did not have to pressure anybody into doing this. And so what we've done is we've come together and we've collected 16 short stories from different authors, all a bunch of really talented people, you know, ranging from sci-fi and fantasy to horror and kind of everything in between, like a lot of genre blending going on in this anthology. And all of the stories are tied together thematically with the Book of Spores, the titular Book of Spores, which you'll see on the front cover very soon. And that frame story is essentially an archivist who is searching searching for evidence of this Book of Spores, researching it, and through her research coming across different worlds that the Book of Spores has infected. And those worlds are the stories themselves that the authors have contributed to this anthology. So Fraser, you can take it away and I'll show off the art.
So it's like this idea of, because what we wanted to do when we were developing this idea is we didn't want to sort of pigeonhole any authors into like a specific genre. We wanted them to be able to write anything they wanted, but we wanted to give everybody something that tied the whole thing together. So this Book of Spores that you can see there, which is just looks so sick, I absolutely love it. Jeff Brown did such a good job on the cover.
Yeah, shout out to Jeff Brown.
Yeah,
just
we love
insanely good.
Yeah, but yeah, so basically we came up with this idea of the Book of Spores, which was something that we wanted everybody to include in their stories. We didn't tell them that this book was basically going to be traveling across the multiverse, but it basically meant that, like, you know, they were able to write with total freedom, whatever genre they wanted. So what we have here is we have such a mix of sci-fi, fantasy, and horror. And every single author is writing in the genre that they want to write in and that is strong, that they're strongest with. So we haven't tried to sort of say, right, can you sort of like, you know, rework the way you would normally do a short story for our anthology. We kind of said just run with it and be as wild as you want. And we created this way of being able to do it. So you will see in the cover that the multiverse is alluded to, but you've got all these different flavors. You've got like a spooky mushroom that looks like a little bit like a skull on the back page. You've got the mycelium spreading out, which is a little bit creepy. But then you've also got like
I can show off just the artwork so you can see a little bit better.
Yeah, you got like crazy planets, you got like sci-fi, like swirling galaxies, you've got like little fantasy little motifs with the little like citadel in the sort of, you know, bottom right. So you've got all of these different things that are incorporated into the cover. So if you were to say like what genre is the cover, you'd just say I don't know, but it looks awesome, and that kind of reflects the anthology really well, because you can't really, it is like the whole of SFF. It's like it's so nice to read. It feels like really complete. So we were stoked when we were getting the stories through and we were seeing what people were coming up with. It was bonkers, man. It was so good.
And one of the really cool things is that because we didn't give them a direction in terms of, we wanted everyone to include the Book of Spores in their stories in some capacity, but we didn't tell them like what is its motivations, what is it doing to your world? Is it an antagonistic force or something that is a little bit more like benign? Because every author is kind of like bringing their own spin to it, and they themselves get to decide like, okay, just because the Book of Spores is going to different worlds doesn't mean that its infection of those particular worlds is viewed as good or bad. It could be you know, one or the other. It could be kind of in between and more like gray area. So it's really cool how everybody interpreted that on their own as well.
And because the archivist is like collecting all of these stories together, there's research that they are doing, a level of research that goes along with it, and so they are looking for this book. So there might be accounts where, you know, it's very obviously is a book, right? But there might be other accounts where the book is not necessarily as sort of literal as that. And so they're finding this sort of like all these different concepts within these different stories. But that's something we were able to do by just giving freedom to the authors, just to like go wild with it, you know. And they really, really have. I was so impressed by every story.
Me
and
too.
I was really, really like nervous getting these stories back from people, because I was like, what are they going to be like? Are they going to be too similar? Is everybody going to be writing the same thing? And then just seeing like the variety was just, it was so like, and we kind of like wrote itself. It was very cool.
Yeah, and on top of it, Jeff as well, we gave him a lot of freedom. I gave him like a very clear concept of what we wanted to do for this. I gave him like a sketch and everything, and like a whole cover brief with references and whatnot. But he just clicked with this concept so fast, and it got to a point where I was just like, do whatever you want. Like, you're doing everything exactly the way you should be, which is why the end result is like such an incredible mix of genres, and like the atmosphere is just oozing off of that artwork, and there's such an incredibly vibrant color palette to it that really just pops. And so I think all of those things kind of tied together. And Jeff, I was just like, again, like, we let him loose much the way we did the authors, and as a result it's like he came up with something that is like unbelievably iconic and super eye-catching.
I got to like the share, and I was like, I just saw the picture when you sent it to me, like the share, and I was like, buying that. I didn't. Somebody goes, "What's it about?" I was like, I don't know. It looks awesome. I like the title. I didn't get any further than that. So, I was like, yeah, here we go. So
what was really cool about the whole idea of us voting for it and everything. So there was this form that we all got to fill in with ideas as to what the anthology could be about. At the time that all happened, it was so long ago that like we all wanted to support Adrian's like foray into fungal punk, but none of us had read Mushroom Blues. None of us, it wasn't even like a thing. So we were like, oh yeah, well, let's do like a fungal punk anthology, and then sort of like gave everybody this prompt about the Book of Spores and that kind of thing. And then Mushroom Blues comes out. And I'm so glad, right, that we did all of that before Mushroom Blues came out, because if we'd have waited until then, every story would have just been set in Adrian's world, and Adrian would have been like, no, that isn't right. No, that you can't do that. It's like, but we've been working on this for so long. It's like, I know that sort of fungal punk is kind of in the ascendancy, like it's on people's radars. People love stories with mushrooms in all of a sudden, and it's like Adrian's a big part of that. But like, we couldn't have timed the creating of this better, because we did it before that sort of wave hit. So it means everybody's story feels, to me, it felt really fresh when you're reading it. It's like it's not influenced by any of the other fungal punk that's come out. So it's like it is kind of taking fungal punk in like different directions. So if you like mushrooms, you like the idea of like what anybody who has written a book including mushrooms has come up with, you'll find something you like in this, because it's like it just feels really fresh in that area it fits into, you know. But yeah, if Mushroom Blues had come out and then we decided to do this, we'd have been like totally stymied. Adrian would have just been like, no, like.
What are you guys thinking? That is true.
You're treading on my territory, dude. No, I'm kidding.
That's awesome. I can't say why, but you guys are making me happy right now, because I have a project going. And thinking about a certain way that you guys talked about doing this is like how I've thought about it. And I've talked to one other person about it. And yeah, like we have like a very different idea, but kind of like are going about it in a similar fashion. As like you guys said, like the Book of Spores. Yeah, so it's going to be really super cool. And I just want to say, like, that's why I want to circle back to some of the, you know, the interviews that you guys have had recently, you know, as a team, because I think like like a couple that you've had, particularly like this last, you know, week in particular, were like really good, because really made you think, you know, if you know, like with you guys with Holly, right, and like talking about like, you know, how'd you do an anthology, you know, how did you guys set it up, and you know, how'd you guys go about, you know, your creation. I always love hearing what people do, because it's always different. And it's like, you know, you could take something that, you know, you guys did and you're like, oh, that's really cool, and then take something that someone else did, you know, like For Honor, or why am I blanking right now? Like ZSD Amani and those guys.
Yep, just Honor.
Yep. Honor, thank you. I keep messing up because of the freaking video game, man. Which is awesome, great. But yeah, like I just think it's interesting to hear everybody, you know, particularly when you have, you know, that many people, you know, working on one project, like how you guys work together. I always find co-authors too really but I really find, anthologies really interesting, particularly now because I feel like people are doing so many just really cool things, and really unique things and totally different. So I don't know. I encourage people to check out your guys' recent interviews, just talking about, how you guys came up with this, but also, the processes that you guys use as well, because I think it's super helpful, especially if you're trying to work with even just one other person, let alone like a team. So
thanks, man. Cool. Yeah. And Jeff Brown and I did a live stream the other night on art and design as well. So it's like it's always good to get like a breadth of what goes into a project. And Jeff and I put a lot of effort into the art and design aspect of it, just as much as, Frasier, Eleni, and I put into the anthology itself and like the stories and the organization of that kind of stuff. So this is like a very multifaceted project. But, we tried to set up this book tour in such a way where we were giving people insight to the different aspects of this anthology and its creation. And so it's like you get interviews with the authors, you get us talking about the anthology and the creation of an anthology with people who have also created anthologies. Then you get the art and design aspect of it. You get to talk to the editors and kind of get a bit of an insight into the editorial process. And so I think giving people that insight makes it a little bit more like transparent as to like what is actually involved in putting together a project like this, right? And it's been really cool to see, like this fall in particular, there have been a lot of amazing anthologies that have dropped on Kickstarter, and they're all so different, right? And so it's like Zach Diamanti and a bunch of really amazing indie authors have put together the Honor Anthology. My friend Tim Hickson with Wraithmarked launched Labyrinth Volume 0. And then there's just like a ton of really cool, varied projects going on Kickstarter right now. So it's like I feel really bad for people's wallets. But at the same time, it's not like everything is just a repetition. Like there's a lot of diversity in terms of like the projects that people are putting out right now.
I mean, I've
totally.
I've backed a load of different Kickstarters over the years, because there's projects that you just find and you just think, this is going to be awesome. But in all of the projects that I've backed, what I've wanted to see is that it's going to meet my expectations. And that's what we've tried to do with the book toys. We've tried to be able to hopefully tailor it in such a way so that if anybody's interested in the Book of Spores, but they're a little bit worried, like, this is like an indie thing. How good is it going to be? What's it going to be like? Is it going to have substance?
And also it's our first anthology, right? And it's our first Kickstarter. So there's some people who, like Wraithmarked, for example, or friends of ours who have done a bunch of Kickstarters in the past. It's kind of like they are known quantities in terms of what people's expectations are about the product that they can create and produce and ship. And that becomes a much more solidified expectation to build over time the more projects that a particular group or like a publisher or a person puts out. And so this is our first anthology, and so it's really kind of like a testing ground for us to show people what we're capable of. But then the next step is kind of like delivering on that, right? And delivering on the expectation that we've set with this Kickstarter and with everything that we've done and all the promotion and everything. And so this is just like the first step in not necessarily FanFiAddict becoming like an indie publisher or anything along those lines, but just us being involved in crowdfunding and collaborative projects and, bringing different authors from different backgrounds together and kind of releasing it under the banner of FanFiAddict type thing.
Yeah, it's not us sort of like having a load of authors involved with the blog and saying like, oh yeah, let's just throw an anthology out there. This is us like wanting to like set the bar like
that's
beyond
exactly
anything that like any one of us could put together. And when the anthologies, when we get to deliver on all of the products, like the product itself, hopefully what we're going to let everybody see what we've been seeing behind the scenes, which is that this is so much more than the sum of its parts. Like this is so much more than just a beautiful book to look at. It's so much more than just a collection of amazing stories. It's like there is something about this project that has just kind of ticked it's lit so many fires in our minds, ticked so many of the boxes we wanted to have ticked, that it's kind of like when you look across it and you can see everything behind the scenes, you see how great it's going to be, and that's why we wanted to share that with people, because like if other people can get a glimpse of what's been going on behind the scenes, that we've been working on this for well over a year, that we've had authors who have, their stories have gone through multiple drafts. We've gotten these stories to the point whereby this is as good an anthology as you're ever going to see. Like, this is just, the more we can show people that, hopefully the more they'll see that we're not just trying to just half bake something and get something out quick. This is us wanting to say, no, we're going to start out here and we're going to do it right. So hopefully that's come through clearly, because we've got some amazing support on the Kickstarter. And if any of what we've done has helped people to decide and say, oh yeah, actually this is going to meet my expectations, I feel like, I mean, what more could we do than that, right? So I feel like in that sense, it's, we're hopefully showing to people that, this is something that you can get behind and pledge.
I feel like people were probably like me, at least I'm gonna burst you guys' bubble, because most people who are like me, who I've talked to, who have backed it, who like followed and then backed it, because they literally were like, oh, FanFiAddict, and then saw the cover, and then I don't even think they might have saw 2 people that were writing with you guys, and they were like, done. So I just want you guys to know that's the conversations I've been having with people in the indie community in particular, and I have to say, like, no offense to anybody, like you said, right? Like, honor your guys, James Dulin and those guys. I don't know why I can't think of names today, like Missos or whatever. Like, that one's really cool.
James L.
Like,
Dulin
those,
with,
those are the 3 things I've seen.
Yep.
Yeah. Thank you. Like, those are the 3 things I've seen all over my entire feed. Those are the conversations that I'm having behind the scenes with people. They're like, hey, did you see this? I'm like, yes, I've already backed it, but I appreciate the lookout, because you get busy and you never know. But yeah, like, I just want you guys to know, like, that's like the buzz, so to speak, which has been awesome. But that's where I was talking to a friend of mine. I'm like, dude, this looks very interesting. And we were really dissecting, certain things you guys were saying off of interviews and stuff. And he came up with a fabulous idea. I was like, I just kind of want to do a joint project with a few people, and came up with a fabulous idea. And I'm like, oh, this is super cool. But I'm a history teacher. I always think cultural diffusion. Like, if it wasn't for you guys doing this one and then these other 2 groups in particular, I don't think we would have had our idea, So I think, again, it really shows that how the community helps each other grow, based off of leveling up, which I think is really cool. But yeah, all I've heard is these 3 anthologies, and you guys is one of them, which has been awesome. I'm like, and I'm like, yeah, share. I'm like, do what you got to do. Like, I have give them the Kickstarter, link for follow and this and that. So yeah, I don't think I did as much like publicly, but I was just like going like, mano y mano. But it was really cool, and then seeing you guys like fund so quickly, and then keep going, I thought was really cool. But that's what people are saying behind your backs. Looks amazing. Sounds good.
I love that.
And like, they're like,
I mean, that's what we want to hear. They're not talking shit behind our backs, I mean, at the very least, it's kind of like, since this is such an experiment for us, to get the response of like funding in 50 minutes was just like insane. And, we're a weekend and we're coming up on like $40,000 funded, which is just like almost 4 times what we originally set out for. And that's just like insane to us. Right. But it does kind of show that it's like, the word of mouth kind of thing. It starts out with something like, okay, what is the reputation of FanFiAddict or SFF Addicts? That is like one entry point for people. Another is like, this cover looks insane and it's really interesting, and it's, kind of like one of those things you look at and it's just inexplicable in how fascinating it is, right? And so it's like those things kind of showcase 2 parts of the book community that are really, really important. And one is reputation and the way that you treat other people and the way that you support the community and the way that you interact with everyone else in the community. And if you spend years and years and years developing this really solid reputation and, legitimate relationships with people, and a sentiment of wanting to help other people out, not necessarily with the intention that you will automatically be given something in return, those things go a really long way. And so it's kind of like all of the support that we've gotten from for this project is kind of like a natural evolution building up over the last, I mean, FanFiAddict has like been around for like, 5 years kind of thing. And so that's just a natural evolution of it. And then on the other side, it's like people in this community really react to, I guess, like subconscious kind of impulses when it's like that cover slaps, and it's just like it's like that consumer psychology that just like instantly hits, and it's like, you know, your book could be amazing, but if you don't, I talked with Jeff a lot about this the other night, so if you want to like hear a little bit more about it, then go check that out. But it's like design and art goes such a long way to really like capturing people's attention, because a lot of the time they will be engaging with your thing based on like a thumbnail or just like a reel on their phone and that kind of thing. And so it's like, spend time and think about not only your reputation and your role in the community, but also the way that you're portraying this project and this product that you're putting out into the world. And it's like, if you put out like a banging cover and people are like, holy shit, that's amazing, then that is enough to pull someone in to check out your Kickstarter or to go to your Amazon page, and that's one step closer to them backing or them buying or whatever it may be, right? And so it's kind of like, these are really core things in this community, is like your reputation goes a long way. And when it comes down to it, judging books by their cover is what 99, probably 100% of people actually do. And so it's like, it's kind of cool to see that those two things, from what you've been hearing and what you, like the friends you've been talking to, those are the things that really like hit home with this particular project.
I try telling people, like my students just said this yesterday, and I go, because I explained to them, I said, your cover is, I said, like, it's from like right like before the pandemic was like the Amazon research, but they said 65 to 68% of the Amazon customers that they that gave feedback and they pulled from Kindle said, I'm going to look at cover first. Mm-hmm. And then that's like 65, 68%. Like another 30% said blurb. And then the other percent was like 7, 8, whatever it was left, like was like review.
Yep.
So I have that conversation with people all the time. And I've actually been trying to send people your way, Adrian, because I'm like, listen, like at least look at his services. I said, this is like what you need to consider to, I think, build a brand personally. Mm-hmm. Like Tom Edwards is doing my first actual, series cover. And then we're tweaking a few things. But it's like, I went to somebody who I felt could do a good job. And who had the time and stuff. But like, I know you and I talked too, and I'm already figuring out, that out. Like, I just automatically clumped you in, at some point for that. Cause I'm like, I want the inside to look the same as the outside, and I wanted to really make a statement for branding, on top of the writing. And I know a lot of people, it's hard, right? But I think you guys nailed it, particularly with this one. So I think it was really awesome. I've had great conversations about it, and it sparked just the conversations too. I want you guys to know, like, I've had so many, just like 5 or 7, like, people I talk to on a daily basis about X, Y, and Z, and we're having fun. Lately, it's really been this one in particular. And it's like you were saying, with your guys' stats, on Kickstarter was like amazing. I think people should really just go check it out, even just for the sense of how you guys put it together, because it looked absolutely amazing. So,
thank you.
Just,
I think one of the things that I think is absolutely awesome about this is that you, Daniel, have already been colonized by the Book of Spores, because because you're going to be putting this thing together, which has come from this whole thing. So it's like, we've already, like, before we've even got the book out there, we were already sort of like, infecting people's minds.
Yeah.
So I feel like that's job done, right?
Like, yeah, man.
Yeah. And I love Mushroom Blues. I thought it was an absolutely amazing read. So
thanks,
I loved it. So Frasier, I got a couple of yours on for my 2026 reading list.
Prepare to get disappointed. Yeah.
Frasier, people gave me
setting the bar so low, dude.
Addict, we're setting the bar up here, but for my personal stuff, I really need to lower people's expectations.
No, there is no ceiling. It's just the floor.
Yeah. I'm in the base.
I want recommendations, Frasier. So people recommended them to me. So
yeah,
that's nice to hear.
But yeah, man, like I'm glad that you like the way that we've done everything. Like, I put a lot of effort into the branding kind of equation. It's like, it goes not just from the book, but it also goes into the interior. It goes to the way that the Kickstarter page looks, the way that we do like promo and stuff on social media. All of it kind of like ties together to create like a really cohesive package that is like messaging the same thing, right? And just kind of like hammering home, or like pounding the cap of this mushroom to like make sure that people understand like this is the expectation that you can have about this thing. And it's been really cool. Like this week we started doing promos with all the authors, and so it's like the authors have been so gracious and so cool. Like beyond just contributing stories, they if anyone goes to the Kickstarter and watches the trailer, like you'll hear, like in the intro of it, I spliced in like different authors like saying weird, creepy stuff, and then having like this really kind of trippy kind of panning, like it only comes through your left ear, your right ear kind of thing. And that's all the authors like sitting down, they recorded with Frasier, and like literally I got to listen to them just like recording goofy lines and like saying quippy one-liners and creepy stuff and whatever. And then at the same time they were all able to kind of introduce themselves, introduce their stories, and that's given us an opportunity to kind of familiarize readers with, here are the actual like faces behind this book. This is not just like a faceless corporate kind of vibe. It's like this is a family project. Like we're all really good friends, and these are the actual people who created these stories that are filling the pages of this anthology. And so giving them a chance to introduce themselves to readers, give a little pitch for their stories, and that really showcases like the variety of people involved in this project, but also like the variety of the stories themselves. And I'll just like quickly shout out everyone who's involved, just so people have an idea.
Oh yeah, please, that'd be great.
The amazing authors that are contributing to this. So it's like Frasier, Eleni, and I did the editing. We also have Ed Crocker on board to do more like line editing and proofreading type stuff. And then we got stories by Frasier. Eleni wrote the frame story. I've written a bonus story that we are including now that we hit 35K for the as a stretch goal. Then we got MJ Coombe, we've got Greta Kelly, Crystal Matar, Connor M. Kaplan, Caden Love, ML Adams, AJ Calvin, Adam Bassett, DB Rook, Tom Bookbeard, Ryan Kirk, Harry Chilcott, Victoria Gross, Will Swordstrom, and CJ Daly. So we've got like a wide range of authors. Some of them are debuting in the anthology. Others are, more established. Some are from trad, some are from self-pub. And so we've got like a wide range of authors with different backgrounds and different kind of like storytelling approaches. But in the end, like Frasier and Eleni and I have been talking about this, is like kind of crazy how cohesive it all feels. Like it doesn't, for a multi-genre anthology, it doesn't feel disjointed, is the best way that I could say it.
I think part of what's helped with that is because we've described this as like a passion project, but it's not just a passion project from me, Eleni, and Adrian. This is a passion project for everyone who's involved. Like everyone has been passionate about it because we let them work in whatever space they wanted. What they've written and contributed is the same kind of energy to their project. And so even though, some of these stories are like worlds apart, they feel like they belong together because everybody, you can almost like feel the passion for this project coming through the page. Like, then that's what excited me. I was like, how are we going to tie all these things together? And then you read them all in order and you're just like, oh yeah, that's the book. Like
yep.
it was so cool. But I think that's the key to it. What we love at FanFiAddict is we're always trying to build on our passion for SFF. That's why FanFiAddict is there in the first place. So if the anthology didn't reflect that, it wouldn't be ready to share with people. So what we're hoping is that like everybody's passion is kind of like filters through. So when people are reading the book, they feel a little bit of that and get a little bit of like that tingle themselves, of like, oh yeah, this is actually really cool,
Yeah, we want all of our readers to get a tingle.
We do, yeah. It's a tingle magnet. This is what it is. Yeah.
There's the YouTube short for the advertising.
There you go. That tingle is the spores infecting you.
Yeah, we should have put a tingle tier on the Kickstarter. Yeah.
Brought to you by Chuck Tingle.
Yeah.
As well.
It was the first tier. But I do think that did happen though, because I don't know if I'm a good consumer for you guys or a bad consumer. I shared everything repeatedly, including the advertisement, but I didn't watch it. I just was like, I'm going to buy this and share this. So I'll have to go back and see how you did it. I feel stupid now. But yeah, I just kept sharing it with people. I was like, this is really cool. It sounds awesome. Look at these people. And I think that's what it is, Frasier, is like, I just could already tell that it was really, I could feel the passion coming through. And I think you could feel it, even with how, and going back to Adrian, what you said earlier, in terms of, like, I have an Adrian M. Gibson notebook on Google Docs where I'm like looking, I take notes on you. I'm like, oh, so Adrian is doing this.
You're like profiling me like I'm like a serial killer or something?
Well, no, just like, I think that the way that you guys in particular, like certain people like set up, launches or projects like this, I'm stealing that. Like, I'm like, because it's just done really well. And I think it is like, you can just feel that you guys had such passion for it. Like, even with you guys like sharing stuff, like, hey, please share this on this date. I opened up I was like, yeah, I'll share. Like, you Facebook messaged me. I'm like, sure. And then you emailed me. When I opened it up, I was like, shit. And I was like, glad I was by myself, because I was like, and I just kept going. I was like, this looks amazing. I read like the first part of the blurb, I guess, but I didn't keep going, because I was like, this looks amazing. It sounds amazing. Based off of what a couple of you guys have said, with statuses and stuff, like, hey, share this. I was like, yeah, I'm just gonna do that. But I think that's where I just didn't fully absorb everything, because I was like, this is just gonna be amazing. And I think a lot of people could tell just right off the bat, just with the materials that you guys shared, and just the people and the amount of people, but also like the people in particular you asked to share those things. I think that just I think the passion came out just right away. I don't think you guys could absorb it at all, if you wanted to, through that release date, because that some people were like, other people that shared too were like messaging me. They're like, hey, have you seen this? Hey, go ask them. I was like, yeah, you asked me. Like, I'm gonna share it. But it was so cool that like people were trying to help you out just to make sure, right, that like other platforms or people could share. So I think that passion personally just like came out like right off the bat. So I think that's what made this project special in particular, and super cool.
And I encourage like anyone, is like, if you want to steal the way that we do things, like, or the way that like I've marketed books, like, go ahead. I like really encourage people to understand that releasing a book is not just writing it, and it's not just like the actual act of creating the book, but it's like how you message it and how you put it out into the world. Because an amazing book can fall flat. It's bound to happen at some point, and it might not necessarily be down to the fact that your story is bad. It could just be like you didn't do the right cover, or you didn't market it in the right way, and kind of, like I was saying earlier, like setting the expectations and then having that expectation kind of maintained across everything that you do, to the point where it's like when someone opens up the anthology, they're not like, what is this? Like, this is not what I thought I was in for, right? Yeah. If we're marketing the Book of Spores as like a romantasy anthology or something like that, then it's like people are going to be like very, very disappointed. They're going to be like, where's the mushroom sex? Where's the penetration? Like, where's all the fun stuff that I wanted?
Where's the tingles?
Yeah. Where are the tingles? There's not enough tingles in this anthology. And so having that kind of consistency like goes such a long way. And that goes from like, I put a lot of care into the marketing materials that I provided for everyone, like the people that I asked. And like that cover reveal was way bigger than I ever expected. And I think that kind of set the tone for like everything that we've done since then. Is just like what you saw then is representative of everything that we're doing in relation to this anthology, and that goes from the marketing and the promo for it, to the way we're running the Kickstarter, to all the effort that we're putting into the actual like production of it. And shout out to the folks at Merrick Books, AC Cobble, and everyone, just like the effort that we're putting in behind the scenes to make sure that it's like the distribution goes smoothly, that everyone's going to get their copies with reasonably priced shipping and all that kind of stuff, that like the production is going to meet our kind of like our quality assurance standards and stuff like that. It's like across the board, we're just really, putting a lot of effort and intention into what is the actual expectation that we're setting at the beginning. And when someone receives that book and they open it up and they're just like, oh my God, like this is insane, and they're so happy to have that on their shelves, right? That's what we want to set from the get-go. Just like start to finish, just like make it as good as possible.
it's why we used Kickstarter. That's the whole reason we did it, because we realized that the only way for us to make the book the way that we dreamed it could be was by using Kickstarter, because otherwise we just wouldn't have been able to put into it what we felt it needed in order to be as special as it could be. Like we've gone out and got we had like this dream list of like, wouldn't it be great if we could have this person and have this and have this? And now, because the Kickstarter's gone so well, we've been able to go to those people and be like, hey, yes, let's get some more artwork, let's get this involved, let's get that in. And we've been able to actually approach the people who can make all of our vision for what we wanted it to be into a reality. And that is entirely down to the people who backed us and who've shown that support. So we are always going to be grateful to every single person who's pledged something, because it's meant that we've been able to successfully look at what the book could be, and we will hopefully by the end of the Kickstarter get into a position where we can deliver on that, so that when we open the book, we look at it and we go, yes, this is beyond our wildest dreams. And that's what we want for everybody, you know. So yeah, but we couldn't have done that without Kickstarter, 100%. Like if we'd have just tried to put this out for just general sale, like no way would it be as special as it's turning out to be. So we're just grateful.
Yeah. And then on top of it, it's like, you know, giving people the variety of ways to support. I mean, it's like cool that Kickstarter has like, you can just donate to a project, which is really nice, but also just having like a variety of tiers for people to be able to enjoy the end product, but in whatever way and whatever kind of like price point suits them, right? And so it's kind of like, yeah, if you're more interested in the ebook, or you're only able to afford the ebook, then it's like totally go for it. Like if you're able to support the project that way, thank you so much, you know. Or like even like I was talking to my mom and she was just like, she didn't want like the special edition, which is like totally fine because not everybody wants that, you know. And so she's like, I'm gonna opt for like this swag package because she likes tote bags and she likes art and stuff like that, and it comes with like the bookmark and the mushroom pin, and it's been really fun for me too because I have a lot of experience doing merch design and production in the past, like making my own t-shirts and getting pins made and all this kind of stuff, and like, you know, getting art printed and whatnot. And so designing something like a tote bag was a lot of fun for me, or designing like a bookmark and all that kind of stuff. And so my mom's like, yeah, I'm going to get the swag package plus like a paperback. And I'm like, that's totally awesome. You know, the fact that there is that flexibility for people is really great, you know. And then if people want to go with something like the deluxe hardcover, which is like, you know, it has the dust jacket, it has like the hardcover case with like the crazy mycelium. I can show that off as well. It has like the sprayed edges with the mycelium kind of growing across it. Now we've got, because we hit 25K, we've got M paper artwork by Patricia Gutierrez, who's an amazing artist. You know, if we hit 45K, we're going to have interior illustrations by Jenny Coots. And if we hit like our ultimate goal, which is like 65K, then we'll get another interior artwork by Jeff, who did the cover. And so it's like, that's like the, you know, absolute banging, like full out, this is going to be an incredible version of this book for the people who are more like into that collector kind of mentality, right? And then it's like, you know, if someone wants to go completely balls out and just get like everything that we have for the Kickstarter, it's like, cool, you know, you can get it with like the slipcase and with the paperback and the digital edition. I created this little like notebook, you know, for people to like write their notes down and stuff, and it has like little fungal facts of the day. You know, there's artwork, there's the pin, there's a tote bag, the bookmark, all this kind of stuff. And so it's kind of like whatever your budget and whatever your desire for like the things that you want, there's so many ways to kind of mix and match. And I think that's kind of a key to a good Kickstarter, is like giving people the options and not necessarily kind of pigeonholing them in terms of like what they're able to get, because a lot of people, they're like, you know, maybe I just want the ebook. And it's kind of crazy to think that there are Kickstarters where they don't have an ebook option, right?
Yeah, I want to say that real quick because I think that was smart of you guys, because like I have to possibly get a new car. So I was like, crap. And I was like, but I saw the ebook. I was like, sweet.
Yep.
But like I went to go back somebody else and they didn't have the ebook option.
Right.
And I was like, oh, like your cover alone makes me want to get the new Kindle color or whatever, just so I can like open it up and like have all the covers in color. They have so many cool books like this where there's covers of, you know, things that's like black and white. So but yeah, like I was like, oh, that's so cool. That I'm glad you guys added that, because I've had so many people like say to me like, oh, I'm so bummed that, you know, some of these don't do the digital option. And I have people too that like my friend Alan Silverwood has his Infinite Souls issue too. They were smart. I missed the first one because Kickstarter didn't notify me. They were smart because like you can get the digital and the print in these different tiers for the second issue. So I just want to point that out, that I think that's really smart, because if you already have it, why not add it as a,
Exactly.
as a small tier? I think that was just really smart. I just want to say.
Yeah, and I mean, it's like in terms of sort of like a deliverable, ebook is just kind of a no-brainer, because it's like, yeah, it's just a file. You don't have to really complicate it too much. And so it's like giving people those options is kind of like giving them more opportunity to support the project in a way that caters to their particular situation, their desires and their financials, whatever it may be, and then someone who's like, yeah, like this is the hardcover case. So it's like, if someone who's like, I want to have like the absolute top crazy edition of this hardcover, right? Like you can get it. And one of our stretch goals was also to get silver foil on there, and so it's like you have like the text and the design on there with like that reflective silver foil. So it's like, Kickstarter really caters to collectors, and I think that's a really awesome way that people are able to do special editions and deluxe editions of books without necessarily having like the support of a publisher, like a publishing house. And that's given indies a lot of flexibility and opportunity to be creative about the ways that they put their book out there, right? And so it's like it caters to everybody, and I think that's a really beautiful thing.
And also because we want to give back to people as much as possible and give them the best possible experience with this, then everybody who backs at the $65 tier or above gets their name in the acknowledgements, which means technically you could have written a book. You will be a part of the Book of Spores. Like you could have written a book with Adrian, with all those amazing authors, right? With me. Like you can be our co-writers because your name will be there, and you'll be able to turn to the back and go, oh, yeah, this is me. This is I made this happen.
Because
like,
even for me, man, it's like it's such a cool feeling to like go into a book, and like this happened to me recently when I was over in the UK. James Logan and I went out for a drink, and he gave me a copy of his book too. And in the back in the acknowledgements, he gives a shout out to me and MJ, and I was just like, dude, like I got like really emotional, man. And so it's like even authors, like people who exist in this space and have more of like that connection with the people who are publishing these books, that is like a really emotional and like a really beautiful thing to experience. So for a reader as well, to know that it's like I had a hand in making this book a reality, that's an incredibly powerful and beautiful sentiment, right? And I think it kind of like
you don't have to write a story to be in the book. You can just back it, and then that's it. You're part of it, right? Like it's amazing. Like
I agree.
I wish I'd had that option.
Yeah, you didn't even want your name on the front cover.
I know, right?
Like, I had to like, it's like, dude, you're one of the goddamn editors. Like, let me put your name on the cover. Jeez.
Yeah. I don't want to put people off. Like,
It's like, oh yeah, pick this up. It's like, oh, it's that Cage of Stars twat. And I'm not gonna get that book.
My answer is like, they're doing this, so I'm buying it. I was like, oh, okay. So your name attached to it, Frasier, made somebody else buy the book. So.
Oh, you know what? That's great. For every one, there's about 10 people who saw me involved and was like, no, unfollow, not interested.
Oh my god! One step forward, 15 steps back.
I'm telling you, like the next Kickstarter, if in the parallel universe, this Kickstarter has made millions, right? Just with not having my book name on the thing. It's
my god!
But... We're so close to millions. If Frasier wasn't
we were like Dungeon Crawler Carl levels of success. But then, damn Frasier! No, I'm kidding.
Exactly. Yeah.
Oh man. Yeah.
Well, you guys talked quite a bit about, just before, I know we're kind of winding down on time, but I just want to ask you guys, what was like one thing that, and you kind of said, like alluded to this, Adrian, what's like the one thing that you're going to kind of like, or maybe a few things that you're going to take away with you from this, working with people and setting up the anthology this way with its success? What's something that, you guys are going to use, in your own careers, solo careers, with your own upcoming books or projects.
Frasier, you want to go first?
Yeah, I can handle this. So in terms of takeaways, there's a few different things that I'm taking away. The main thing is it's given me a lot more trust of my own writing. And the reason for that is because when you collaborate at this level with people, you have to trust their writing. You have to trust that they're going to deliver. The people that you approach for stories, the people that send stories in, there's this great element of being able to see creatives. And you realize that actually trusting the process pays off. And so that adds to your confidence over your own sense of writing, because you're like, oh, okay, yeah, I helped put this book together. I helped these authors strengthen their stories. I helped them do this. I helped them do that. They're putting their trust in me to get this as good as possible. So why shouldn't I be trusting myself? So I feel like it's given me such a massive confidence boost in sharing my writing with others, but also in being okay with where I'm at as a writer. And the other thing is that my story in the anthology is written from a non-human perspective, partly. So it's kind of like it's about this sentient forest, and these mushrooms get taken hostage, and it's trying to get them back. So it's weird, but I really wanted to try it out because I'd taken a few non-human perspectives in when I was writing Cage of Stars, when I've done short stories. I wanted to push myself with this one to see how far could I go with it, and how and I feel like it's probably my best attempt at that. So I feel like in terms of my own writing, it's kind of helped me to just think, just throw off everything that is like weighing you down. Just go for it. Just be bold. Just do what's weird and what's cool. Because ultimately, like, if you don't take risks with your own writing, you're never gonna go beyond that ceiling. You're never gonna be punching above your weight. You're always gonna be sort of like, blocking yourself and guard. You gotta keep your guard up. Whereas like when you're writing, you just gotta go for it. And so yeah, those two things, like trusting my own writing, that it is okay, and taking risks and going for it. That is the major things I'll be taking from this anthology. Yeah, which is awesome.
Yeah.
And now we're to the $1 million. As soon as people see that answer, they'll be like, boom.
Yeah.
Like, we're going to prove Frasier wrong.
Yeah.
It's $1 million.
Yeah. And it's been cool, like, honestly.
Like Dungeon Crawler, whoever you are.
Suck it, Princess Donut. Yeah.
Oh, you've always wanted to say that, Adrian. Let's face it.
I'm waiting.
No, but like it's honestly been like an extension of everything that I've been kind of like building up and working towards in terms of like my approaches to everything, really. And I think kind of like adding in that collaborative element just makes me more excited and more engaged with like the collaborative process. Like I don't necessarily think I'm the type of writer to exist in this industry and only just do my own thing, right? So much of what I love to do in the past, and so much of what I'm learning that I love to do in the present, and kind of looking towards the future, is working with other people on stuff, doing more anthologies, doing more Kickstarters, working with my friends on stuff and collaborating with my friends on stuff. It's kind of like that's also a natural extension of the podcast as well. And so it's like MJ and Greta and I are already looking towards next year about like a project that we want to do. I'm collaborating with a friend on like a tie-in graphic novel to the Fungal Verse. And so it's kind of like these types of things are what 2025 really solidified in my head, is like working with other people is a lot of fun, especially in an industry that likes to put out this idea that being a writer is a solitary endeavor. And so much of what I learned is far from that perception. And I personally prefer to be more on like the collaborative end of things, and working with other authors and working with friends and just doing cool shit as often as I can. So
awesome. Yeah, try selling a book by yourself. You know what I mean? It's like, I like added that when you asked us to share on a particular day. I was like adding that to my Adrian notebook. That's what I'm adding to my launch. I'm gonna be like, hey, I have my friend's doing a new cover for me for my novella, my prequel novella. So I was like, ooh, I'm gonna do that for 2 different dates. the new cover reveal, and then that. So I stole that from you. I was like, that's genius. I was like, why did I not think of that? Like, seems like the dumbest, smallest thing to not think of. And I've said, I was like, yeah, these guys did this. I was like, you should do this. And I had a bunch of friends that are about to, launch books, and they were like, why have I not thought of that? I'm like, I don't know, because we're doing too much. I said, but there in itself, right, is also that using that the sharing of, just that's such a great way to, schedule and to make sure that, people are, sharing and stuff. And then it's nice, right? Because then, it was fun helping you guys with everybody else. If that makes sense. Like, I don't mind helping anybody anytime, but it was really fun to do it as like a podcasting group or as an indie community. It was just really fun to push, everybody together, and it was fun to see everybody doing it. If that makes sense. So yeah, it definitely made me feel like, oh wow, we're really not alone in this.
Exactly.
So try selling a book alone, and it's not going to go very well, right? So
exactly.
Expanding and helping, and it feels good to help people. I always forget to ask for things. So I'm always like, what can I do? And then somebody
I'm very much like, there are some people who forget to ask for things. There are some people who are afraid to ask for things. And then there are people like me where it's like, I'm a bit shameless about it. And it's like, I will do anything for you. And so I will approach other people with the same expectation of like, I'm definitely not going to be like, if you don't help me with this, then I'm like, shut you out forever or anything along those lines. Yeah, but it's kind of like, if I've developed a relationship with you, then I'm going to come to you in confidence and say like, would you be willing to help me out with this kind of thing? And pretty much like 95% of the time, people are like, hell yes.
Yeah.
So
it was super cool. Yeah, it was fun. Anytime. Yeah, you guys let me know anytime. I was like, ooh, Frasier invited me to a thing. I was like, Adrian asked me for a thing. I was like, oh, it feels really good to be needed. Like, I'm always needed by kids at school and my kid, but it's kind of nice to know other adults, like, kind of need me, It was cool. But yeah, it always feels good. It's hard, right? Because I don't have a co-host, right? So it's like, it's hard to just always do this, and just like always me, because kind of like writing in a cave, right? Like, it's hard just to, like, I'm busting out for the year to try and, get my own stuff, like launch some stuff in the spring and then, early summer, and it's like, it's hard to just be like head down and to do the thing sometimes. So it just felt good to do something to help you guys out and to, just to kind of bring my head back up and remember that I'm not doing this thing alone. So
yeah. And we appreciate that, man. Thank you.
Whenever you're giving to the community, it's giving you fuel back, right?
That's true.
Because you realize that your passion has a place, right?
Yep.
And so then that feeds into your creativity, because you're like, well, okay, if this is really cool, and look, I'm able to help out with this, and then it kind of means that the projects you're working on in the background, you're like, oh, okay, maybe other people will find this cool as well.
Yeah, maybe it means more.
Yeah, exactly. If anybody is afraid, because I'm one of those people who like is afraid to ask for stuff, because of fear of rejection and fear of people saying no. But just remember, like, the people that you're asking are really cool. Like, it's all good, and be more Adrian, basically. Just
I need to be your first call after Adrian Frasier. If he says no, just let me know. I'll do whatever.
No, I mean, I'll never say no to Frasier. If anything, Frasier will not ask me for something, and then I will force him to let me.
Like, wait a minute, you asked Dan first? What the hell?
Yeah.
Awesome. Oh, well, do you guys mind just telling us one more time in case, because like sometimes people pop in to the end, so maybe that way they can know where to find you guys on Kickstarter, things like that.
For sure. So you can find the Book of Spores on Kickstarter. The campaign is running until December 4th. So by the time you hear this, it's going to be the last week. So get in and back the project while you can. You got a wide variety of things that you can get. You can get the ebook, you can get swag, you can get the deluxe hardcover, you can get everything. So you can kind of mix and match for your taste and your budget and everything like that. And thank you to everyone who's backed the project so far. We're really appreciative of all your help. So yeah, go check it out on Kickstarter. Just search the Book of Spores in Google or on Kickstarter, whatever, you'll find it. And then you can follow me at Adrian M. Gibson on all social media. You can check out my podcast, SFF Addicts, wherever podcasts are found. You can find the video on YouTube, also on Spotify. And we release new episodes every Tuesday. We've had some really, really awesome interviews lately. We've got some cool ones lined up for 2026 as well. And yeah, you can find Mushroom Blues, which is my debut novel. You can find that in ebook, paperback, hardcover, and audiobook. So if you want a little bit of, fungal noir, police procedural, murder mystery vibes in your life with weird mushroom people. So if you're into the Book of Spores and you want more mushrooms, then go check out Mushroom Blues.
And you can find me at Frasier Armitage everywhere. It's FrasierArmitage.com is the website. If you want to see me on the Spotlight Indie channel, just search for it in YouTube. That's spotlightindie.co.uk is the website there. It's all about supporting indie authors. So if you are an indie author or you're thinking of writing a book and you want to sort of get into a space where you need a little, you got questions, you don't know what the answers are, you're thinking like, where am I going to find this? How am I going to do this? Just hit us up at Spotlight Indie. You'll be part of a crew that is designed to sort of give you the support that you need. And then in terms of my writing and my book, stay tuned. In December there will be more announcements coming as to different things that I've got in the pipeline. And in the meantime, you can go out and you can buy Cage of Stars, get it in paperback. You'll see what a genius Adrian is, because you'll see his interior and it's just I mean, you won't see Adrian's interior, that would be a bit weird. You'll see what he did with the interior.
Yeah, it'll be like Magic School Bus,
Yeah. You just see X-rays on every page.
All of them, man.
Yeah, but that's me. Come find me, come say hi.
I always have to say that because somebody was like, I don't click on your descriptions. I was like, I don't understand why you don't. I put everything so they're like, can you just keep having them? I'm like, you really want to type? I was like, fine. Like, so I'm trying to accommodate people.
I'm over and over and over and over.
I'm like, I'm a teacher, so I'm just trying to accommodate everybody whatever way they want. So yeah, I just figured why not. But so in terms of the description, anytime you guys are watching or listening, you can find all of our authors, creatives, anybody. You can find their links in the description. If you're like me and you have a kid and tired and you're lazy and you just want to click, so you can also find their channels and their socials in the description everywhere we're watching or listening to this podcast. I want to thank everybody for coming. Really appreciate everybody's support in sharing both this episode, but more in particular, their guys' Kickstarter links, those kind of things. You're going to see me right now. It's like the 21st of November, so I'm like have a mapped out blitzkrieg essentially on social media. So if you haven't seen their project on my social media somewhere, then I'm doing something wrong. But I'm going to have a couple other people share this as well, and we're going to try and get it out as much as possible. But anything that any of you guys can do who are watching or listening, really appreciate it. Frasier, Adrian, always a pleasure. Frasier, I'm so glad I could have you on this podcast. You want to come back without Adrian or whatever? That's totally cool.
No, we're tied at the hip, man. There's
I
no
can't knock it without Adrian. Like, I'm forgetting to say my own name of my book, and Adrian's lifting it up, just like, it's like, don't forget. Like, but yeah.
Well, Adrian's always invited, so if you want, he can come on too.
Thank you. I would do.
They're like, you have like Adrian and Herman on like streaming like all the time. I was like, well, if people want to come on, I was like, I always give veterans of the podcast like first dibs. I was like, if somebody wants help and wants something, I was like, yeah, just come on. So they were like, oh, okay.
We appreciate it. We appreciate it.
Yeah. I love talking to podcasters and booktubers and different people, right? Because it's kind of a different conversation than just authors. So I always get something extra out of it. So I think it's fun. Well, thank you guys for coming on. Everybody else, have a great rest of the day. And
thank you, buddy.
You guys too. Thank you.
Bye, everybody.